Good day, everyone. I am Sir Russell, and today I'll be helping you in learning an application that we teachers need in giving online quizzes and surveys as part of the flexible learning, the Google Form. Google Forms is a free online tool from Google which allows users to create forms, surveys, and quizzes, as well as to collaboratively edit and share the forms with other people. Educators can use Google Forms to assess their students at the beginning of the class and gauge pre-existing knowledge. Furthermore, Google Forms can be used to give feedback to and receive feedback from students and parents. Similarly, students can use Google Forms to assess their own learning and set the learning goals, as well as to collect data for their research projects. In this video, you will be taught how to use Google Forms, create and grade quizzes with Google Forms, edit your form, choose a question for your form, change the theme or font of your form, show questions based on answers, and lastly, share your form with collaborators. Get ready and let's start exploring the Google Form. This video tutorial is brought to you by ISCOF Cares. So here we go. Let's start learning how to create our quiz using the Google Form. So first we have to open our browser and then we will type google.com and then we will sign in our Google account, our email, then we will click next and then we will be asked of our password. And here we will click again next. So we have already signed in our Google account. So what's next? We have to go into the Google Apps icon here, right here at the top right. We will click this one and we will look for the form. We will click the form and then here we go. We are now on our forms. So we will click this blank one. Okay, so for instance, we are going to title this form as Midterm Quiz 1. Okay, so this quiz is named as Midterm Quiz 1 and it appears the same with here. So this is the title of our quiz and then we will write a short description. So we have here the description of this quiz. So for instance, this is the description. Next, we will separate this quiz into several sections. Okay, so what we're going to do is to click this icon. We will add a section. So this section will be about, so shall we say we have here the personal information of our students. So we can write a short description here below the name personal information. And then we have the first question could be, this is not necessarily a question, but the thing that we want to ask from our student, the information. So shall we say it's the student ID number. Okay, so shall we say we only need the student ID number for the personal information of our students, and this could be a name or what else, the year and section. Okay, so we could add, shall we say, the year and section or the course and the year. Okay, so we will add another question. So we have here the course and year. Okay, so this is the first section of our, or shall we say the second section actually, because the first section here is this one, the title. So this one will be the second section, but this actually is the first section that we will fill, or our students will fill in before they proceed to the exam. So okay, so we will proceed with another section. So this could be already the exam. Okay, so we will title this, for instance, like Lesson 1, the Filipino Heroes and Heroines, since we are using the subject Philippine History. Okay, so you can put here also description below, and then what we're going to do is put a title and description. So shall we say this is a multiple choice part? So here we go. Shall we say this is a multiple choice section? Okay, so this is under section 3, and then it's somewhat like another title here and description. So that's title and description. Okay, so now we will add, or we will already make our question, and we will set the answer. So here we have to add a question. So we will type our question. So we have here our question. So for instance, who is the first Filipino to win a gold medal in the Olympic Games? So now we will write our options or choices. Okay, so we have here our options, the question and the options. So before we proceed with, we have also here on the upper right corner of this form, we can choose a type of question that we have to use in our quiz. So since this is a multiple choice, we have to click multiple choice. Okay, now how are we going to set the answer for this one? So in order for us to set the question or the answer key for this question, we have to go into the settings first. We have here the quizzes. So we should make this a quiz in order for us to set the answer. Then we will click save. Okay, so we have, as you can see, you have here below the answer key. Okay, we will click this one, and then we can already select which is the correct answer. So we will click which is the correct answer. So this one is the correct answer, and then we will set the point for this question. So how many points are we going to give? So shall we say it's 1. Okay, and then we will click done. Okay, and then we will have also to click the required button here. Okay, so what is the importance of this? This is for our students to they cannot send their quiz if they have not answered an item that is required. Okay, so if the question is required, set as required, then they cannot send their quiz if they have missed one question. Okay, and then shall we see within these 3 dots here, we have 3 options. Okay, so as you can see, we did not put A, B, C, or D in our choices. So shall we go with the shuffle option order? Okay, so we will click that one. So what is the purpose of that one? That is for our students to avoid cheating. Okay, so they have to actually memorize the correct answer and not the letter. So these options may appear in different order in different students who will open this quiz. So that is the purpose of this one. Okay, so aside from creating or using questions for our quiz, we can also use an image. Okay, so we have here, we'll click that one, and then we can have, if we have downloaded, so we can upload. So we will browse file. So we have here, shall we say on the desktop, we have the photo of Mabini. Okay, so we will open that one. Okay, so we have here the photo or the image. So we will put an instruction here, or whatever you want to put, a title or what. Okay, so we have here, for instance, use this image to answer the following question.
So we have to add a question below this image. Shall we say, okay, so for instance, we have here, who is the Filipino hero in the image above? So this is the question, and then we can have the choices here. So again, we will set the answer key. So we know that's Mabini, and then we will put the number of points and then click done. Okay, and then we will click required again, and then here we go, shuffle option order. Okay, so that is a multiple choice. So if you want this one to be an identification thing, so you can have the short answer. Okay, so we have already used the image. So we can also use a video. So we have here a video. We will click that one, the button, and then we can have here the URL. So for instance, we have to use this video. So we will copy the link address and then we will paste it here. Okay, then we will click select. And presto, here is your video. Okay, again, we will put a title or a description or instruction about this video. So for instance, this is the instruction. Watch the video below to answer the questions that follow. Okay, then we will again put question. Okay, so for instance, we have here another question. So again, we have the choices and then we will set the answer. For instance, we have here, and then we will set again a point. It's 1 point. Okay, and click done, required, and then we will shuffle option order. Okay, one thing also that we can do is import questions. So for instance, we will get questions from our previous quizzes or the previous quizzes that we have made. So we have here, we will click this import questions, and then shall we say we have here from this one, then we will select, and here we go, we have, or we can choose, or we have options here to choose. We can select all the questions, or we can click individual questions that we want to copy. So for instance, we will copy this, or we will import this question. Okay, so we will click that one, and then we will click import questions, and presto, here is the question coming from a different quiz. Okay, so this is one of the things that we can do in Google Form. Okay, so for instance, we are done creating our questions for our entire quiz. Okay, so we can have here the theme, so we can customize it. So we have here the header, so we can see here at the top portion of the first section, so this is filled with text, so we can have image here. So shall we try? We have here, so we can get themes coming from the default themes that are given here, or we can upload ours. So we'll try to upload if you want to personalize really your quiz. So we have here, for instance, we will open and then we will adjust. Okay, so depending on the size of the image, so we will adjust to suit the things that you want to see. So shall we try? Click done, and then we will see what will happen. Okay, so we have here our header. So we can choose the theme color. So if you would like to choose another color, we can have here, then you can add, and then it's there. Okay, and then the background color as well, so you can change that one. So should we prefer this? And then for the font, if you are okay with this one, then go with the default, but you can also change it. So for instance, shall we say with a playful? So it's somewhat like more thin, it's the thinner text for our quiz. Okay, then we will click the X, so to close. So this is already our form. Okay, so we will go back here in our personal information. So we will click required, and then also this one. Okay, so this is already our quiz. So we have here the title, and then the short description. And what else? We will now go to the settings. Okay, so for the settings of our quiz, we have here 3 settings: the general, the presentation, and the quizzes. So for the general, we have to check only limit to 1 response, and the rest are unchecked. Okay, for presentation, we have only to put a confirmation message just like this one: congratulations, your responses have been recorded. Or you can put a different confirmation message depending on the subject that you're teaching. Okay, so then next we have here the quizzes. So this one should be turned on, so this should be make this a quiz. And then we have here release grade immediately after each submission, so that our students can see the grades immediately after they click the submit button. Or we can have this one later after manual review. Okay, so you can choose between the two. Then respondents can see what? The point values. We should not expose this missed questions and the correct answers to avoid cheating. Okay, so one student might tell the other student or his or her classmates that this one is wrong and these one are the correct answers. Okay, so we should have to click only the point values. So that's for our settings. Then what we're going to do, click save here at the upper right corner of our screen. Now, how are we going to go with sharing this quiz? So we can send this with the email account of our students by writing the email here in this portion, and then we can click this one and then send. Okay, another is to copy the URL of this quiz, and we can have the shortened form or the longer form here. So in the shortened form, we can copy this one. So we'll click copy, and then we can already paste that to our GC, okay, or group chats, and that's it. Okay, so we will click this X again, and then that's it. So for the 3 dots here, so we will not touch these things because these are not actually important with our quiz. For the purpose of creating the quiz, so we will not touch this thing. So these are simple: undo, make a copy, move to trash, or what else. This is a portion of the quiz. Okay, so these are not important. And then we have here to see the responses of our students. So we have tried to answer it. So we have, for instance, here we have 3 students who have responded to our quiz. So we can see the statistics of the questions of our entire quiz. So we have here for the first question, the second question, and the third question, how many have got it correct, answer and wrong answer. Okay, we have also here the data that we have asked, who are the students who have responded. And then here, for each of the questions, we can see how many of them have responded correctly with each of the choices. Wow, with the wrong choice, or we can see here students have responded correctly based on the correct answer that we have set, and those who have answered the wrong ones, so the statistics is shown. Okay, and then we have also here the rest, the entire questions in our quiz. Okay, so this is about the responses, and then we can have here the questions. Okay, so we have also here individual. So actually you can use more importantly the things here on the summary. So if you want to download this or the data that you have in your quiz, you can click this thing, create spreadsheet, and from here you can see the results of your quiz. So this is online, so you can see here the time that your student sent his or her answer, and then the score, and then the who is the student, the course and year, and then each of the questions. So the answers that they have responded for each of the questions. So you can copy this one and then store in another spreadsheet, shall we say in a Microsoft Excel. Okay, so this one is the online form. So that's for our Google form. So thank you very much for listening and watching, and I hope you have learned the basics of creating quiz using the Google form.
This time, try to create a 5-item quiz using Google Form to apply what you have learned in this video tutorial. Be creative and give your best. When you're done, copy the link of your quiz and send in a group chat for your fellow participants to try your quiz. And share it on a Google Classroom. Have a wonderful learning encounter!